If you're enrolled in Medicare Part B and paying monthly premiums, there's a little-known payment option that could keep over $2,000 in your pocket this year. The Medicare Premium Payment Plan, or MPPP, lets you defer your Part B premium payments instead of paying them upfront every month. But here's what most people don't realize. When you delay those payments, you're essentially getting an interest-free loan from Medicare while your money stays in your savings account, earning interest for you instead of leaving your hands immediately. Right now, with inflation still affecting everything from groceries to healthcare, keeping that cash flow working in your favor matters more than ever. The average Medicare Part B premium is $185 per month in 2025. That's $2,220 annually. Under MPPP, you're not avoiding the payment, but you're strategically timing it to maximize your financial flexibility. This isn't about gaming the system. It's about using a legitimate Medicare option that millions of eligible seniors simply don't know exists. Let me show you exactly how this works, who qualifies, and the 3 steps to enroll before the next billing cycle. Now, before we dive deep into how you can actually use this program, I want you to understand something really important. The Medicare Premium Payment Plan isn't some new government gimmick or a scam being advertised on late-night television. This is a legitimate, congressionally approved payment option that's been part of Medicare's structure for years, but the problem is that Medicare doesn't exactly advertise it. They don't send you flashy brochures in the mail telling you about it, and your local Social Security office isn't calling you up to let you know you have this option. It's tucked away in the fine print of Medicare regulations, and unless you're the type of person who reads through every single page of your Medicare handbook with a magnifying glass, you've probably never even heard of it. And that's exactly why I'm making this video today, because information like this should be common knowledge, not a secret that only financial advisors and Medicare specialists know about. So let's talk about what the Medicare Premium Payment Plan actually is in plain English. When you enroll in Medicare Part B, which covers things like doctor visits, outpatient care, medical equipment, and preventive services, you're required to pay a monthly premium. For most people in 2025, that premium is around $185 per month, though it can be higher if you're in a higher income bracket due to something called IRMAA, which stands for Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. Now, traditionally, if you're receiving Social Security benefits, that premium gets automatically deducted from your Social Security check each month before you even see the money. If you're not receiving Social Security yet, you get a bill from Medicare every month and you have to pay it directly. Either way, you're paying that premium every single month like clockwork. But here's where the Medicare Premium Payment Plan changes everything. Instead of paying your premiums monthly, MPPP allows you to defer those payments and pay them on a different schedule, which means you get to keep that money in your account for a longer period of time. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. You might be saying to yourself, wait a minute, if I'm just delaying the payment, I still have to pay it eventually, so what's the big deal? And you're absolutely right to think that way, because yes, you will eventually have to pay those premiums. But here's the critical part that makes this such a powerful financial tool. When you defer those payments, your money stays in your hands for longer, and during that time, that money can be working for you. If you have your funds in a savings account, a money market account, or any kind of interest-bearing account, you're earning interest on money that would have otherwise already been sent to Medicare. And even if you're not earning much interest, you still have that money available for emergencies, for unexpected medical bills, for home repairs, or for anything else that might come up in your daily life. Cash flow is king, especially when you're living on a fixed income, and the Medicare Premium Payment Plan gives you more control over your cash flow than the standard monthly payment system does. Let me put this into real numbers so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Let's say you're paying the standard Part B premium of $185 per month. Over the course of a full year, that adds up to $2,220. Now, if you're paying that monthly, you're sending $185 to Medicare every 30 days, and that money is gone from your account immediately. But if you're using the Medicare Premium Payment Plan and you're able to defer those payments for several months, you're keeping that money in your account where it's accessible and potentially earning interest. Let's say you have that money sitting in a high-yield savings account that's earning 4% annual interest, which is pretty standard these days with online banks. If you're deferring even half of those premium payments over the course of the year, you could be earning an extra $50 to $60 just from the interest alone. Now, I know that might not sound like a fortune, but when you're on a fixed income and every dollar counts, that's $50 to $60 you wouldn't have had otherwise. And more importantly, it's about having access to that money when you need it most, rather than having it automatically deducted before you even get a chance to use it. But the benefits of the Medicare premium payment plan go beyond just earning a little bit of interest. One of the biggest advantages is the flexibility it gives you in managing your monthly budget. Think about how your expenses change from month to month. Some months are more expensive than others. Maybe you have property taxes due in one month, or maybe your homeowner's insurance comes due, or maybe you have to make a major purchase like a new refrigerator or pay for car repairs. When you're locked into paying your Medicare premium every single month automatically, you have less flexibility to manage those fluctuating expenses. But when you're using MPPP and deferring some of those premium payments, you have more breathing room in your budget during those expensive months. You're not scrambling to cover everything all at once because you've strategically timed your Medicare payments to align better with your overall financial situation. Now, let's talk about who actually qualifies for the Medicare premium payment plan, because this is where things get really interesting. The eligibility requirements aren't as restrictive as you might think. Generally speaking, if you're enrolled in Medicare Part B and you're paying premiums, you may be eligible to use MPPP. However, there are some specific situations where this works better than others. If you're already receiving Social Security benefits and your Part B premium is being automatically deducted from your Social Security check, you can still potentially use MPPP, but you'll need to contact Medicare and request to change your payment method. This means you'll stop having the premium automatically deducted, and instead, you'll be billed directly, which then allows you to take advantage of the deferred payment option. If you're not yet receiving Social Security and you're already being billed directly for your Part B premium, you're actually in an even better position to use MPPP because you're already set up for direct billing. One thing I want to make crystal clear, though, is that using the Medicare premium payment plan doesn't mean you can just ignore your premium payments altogether. You're not getting out of paying your premiums, and you're not getting any kind of discount or reduction in the amount you owe. What you're doing is restructuring when those payments are due. Medicare will still expect you to pay the full amount you owe, but instead of paying it in 12 separate monthly installments, you might be paying it in quarterly installments, or in some cases, you might even be able to arrange a different payment schedule that works better for your specific situation. The key is that you're maintaining your Medicare coverage while optimizing your cash flow, and as long as you're making your payments according to the agreed upon schedule, your coverage remains active and uninterrupted. So how do you actually enroll in the Medicare premium payment plan? This is the part where a lot of people get intimidated because they think it's going to involve mountains of paperwork and hours spent on hold with government agencies. And I'll be honest with you, dealing with Medicare can sometimes be frustrating, but enrolling in MPPP is actually more straightforward than you might expect. The first step is to contact Medicare directly. You can call the Medicare hotline at 1-800-MEDICARE, which is 1-800-633-4227. And tell them you want to inquire about changing your premium payment method to take advantage of the Medicare premium payment plan. The representatives are trained to help you with this, although I will warn you that not every representative will be immediately familiar with MPPP because it's not a commonly requested option. If you encounter a representative who doesn't seem to know what you're talking about, don't get discouraged. Politely ask to speak with a supervisor or a specialist who can help you with alternative payment arrangements for your Part B premiums. When you're talking to Medicare about enrolling in MPPP, there are a few pieces of information you'll want to have ready. First, have your Medicare number handy, which you can find on your red, white, and blue Medicare card. Second, know your current premium amount, which you can find on your Social Security statement if your premium is being deducted, or on your monthly Medicare bill if you're paying directly. Third, be prepared to discuss your preferred payment schedule. Think about what would work best for your budget. Would quarterly payments work better for you? Would semi-annual payments give you even more flexibility? Medicare has some parameters around what payment schedules they'll approve, but there's often more flexibility than people realize, and it never hurts to ask for what would work best for your situation. Another option for enrolling in MPPP is to visit your local Social Security office in person. Now, I know that in today's world, a lot of people prefer to handle things over the phone or online, but sometimes going in person can actually be beneficial because you can sit down with someone face to face and walk through the entire process together. If you decide to go this route, I strongly recommend calling ahead to make an appointment rather than just walking in, because Social Security offices can have long wait times if you show up without an appointment. When you go to your appointment, bring your Medicare card, your Social Security card, a form of identification like a driver's license, and any recent statements or bills related to your Medicare premiums. Having all of this documentation with you will make the process go much more smoothly. Now, I want to address something really important that I've seen cause confusion for a lot of people. Some folks hear about the Medicare Premium Payment Plan, and they think it's the same thing as the Medicare Savings Program, or MSP, which is a completely different program. The Medicare Savings Program is a state-run program that actually helps pay your Medicare premiums if you meet certain income and asset requirements. That's a fantastic program if you qualify for it, and if your income is limited, you should absolutely look into whether you're eligible for one of the Medicare savings programs. But that's not what we're talking about today. The Medicare Premium Payment Plan doesn't pay your premiums for you, and it doesn't require you to meet any income requirements. It's simply a payment scheduling option that's available to most Medicare beneficiaries, regardless of income level. So don't confuse the two programs, because they serve very different purposes. There's another common question I get asked about MPPP, and that's whether using this payment plan will affect your Medicare coverage in any way. The answer is no, it absolutely will not. As long as you're making your premium payments according to the schedule you've arranged with Medicare, your Part B coverage continues exactly as it would if you were paying monthly. You have access to all the same doctors, all the same services, all the same benefits. The only thing that changes is when and how often you're making your premium payments. Your coverage doesn't get downgraded, you don't lose any benefits, and your care isn't affected in any way whatsoever. This is purely a financial arrangement that gives you more control over your payment timing. I also want to talk about the potential risks and downsides of using the Medicare Premium Payment Plan, because I believe in giving you the complete picture, not just the rosy parts. The biggest risk is that if you're not disciplined with your finances, you might spend that premium money on other things and then find yourself in a difficult position when your deferred payment comes due. If you're used to having your premium automatically deducted every month, you don't really have to think about it or budget for it because it just happens automatically. But if you're deferring those payments, you need to make absolutely sure you're setting that money aside so it's there when you need to make your payment. I recommend opening a separate savings account specifically for your deferred Medicare premiums and transferring the premium amount into that account every month, even though you're not paying Medicare every month. That way, when your payment comes due, you know the money is there and you haven't accidentally spent it on something else. The other thing to be aware of is that if you miss a deferred payment or you're late with a payment under MPPP, the consequences can be more serious than if you miss a single monthly payment under the standard system. Medicare takes payment agreements seriously, and if you fail to make your payments according to the schedule you've agreed to, you could face penalties, late fees, or in extreme cases, even a lapse in your coverage. So this is not a payment plan you want to take lightly or treat casually. If you're going to use MPPP, you need to be organized. You need to be disciplined, and you need to make absolutely sure you're tracking your payment schedule and meeting your obligations on time. Let me give you a real-world example of how someone might use the Medicare Premium Payment Plan effectively. Let's say you're a retired teacher named Margaret, and you're receiving Social Security benefits of about $2,000 per month. Your Medicare Part B premium of $185 is automatically deducted from your Social Security check, so you're actually receiving about $1,815 in your bank account each month. Now, Margaret has some savings, but she's on a tight budget and she's always worried about unexpected expenses. She decides to contact Medicare and switch to the premium payment plan with quarterly payments. Now, instead of having that $185 deducted every single month, Margaret is billed once every 3 months for $555. During those 3 months, Margaret is receiving her full $2,000 Social Security check without any Medicare deductions. She's putting that $185 per month into a separate savings account, and by the end of 3 months, she has $555 saved up and ready to pay Medicare when the bill arrives. But here's the beautiful part. During those 3 months, Margaret had access to that money if she needed it for an emergency. Her car broke down in month 2 and needed a $400 repair. Because she had that extra money in her account instead of it already being gone to Medicare, she was able to pay for the car repair without having to put it on a credit card or borrow money from family. She still had enough left over to pay her Medicare bill when it came due, and she avoided going into debt over an unexpected expense. That's the power of improved cash flow, and that's exactly what the Medicare Premium Payment Plan can do for you if you use it wisely.